What she's doing here is a snow sole, so it is not a trekking sole. That's why what she did is correct. As a distribution of the logs and everything, they are, like big pods, and then we have the pods which are kind of cut. We have little tiny cuts over these big pods, which means that the water gets inside and it is drained out. If we have left them smooth, then on a wet ice or something, it would slip like crazy. So this is very correct what she did. And then we have the metal spikes, which is something that we can insert into the sole in the manufacturing. They have different techniques to integrate them together. And then we have the lug details, which is really, like a nice approach of industrial design. That's why I like it. And the rubber is really thin, she says, because she doesn't want a lot of weight. And then we have the TPU, and then we have the EVA. So I don't stay on the black and white design a lot, because she also made a split of colors, which is not the colors that she designed, because it's not going to be this, but they are the colors to show the zones, the areas of materials. So let's start with the top line. So yellow parts are EVA, which is fine. But if it's a winter sole, we want lightness, that's true. Then we should talk with the factory and tell them that we're going to use it for winter use, and we will have a lot to do with snow and water, so that to be sure that we are choosing the right compound. So of course, I am not a chemistry person, and I'm not a material person, but I always ask them, what materials do you have? Do you think that EVA is okay? What kind of technicity will have the sole? Is it going to be more like city use, more a fancy use with the snow, or is it going to be really for a sport, really walking in the mountains? So if it's like really walking in the mountains, maybe switching to PU, an expanded PU, I don't say a heavy PU, could be a little bit more durable for the snow and winter conditions. But it's fine. There are a lot of winter products with EVA. Okay.
Okay.
And then I think these material splits are correct. Around these, we will have color dams. And then the color dam will come up to here. So they will be horizontal. This is going to make us a little bit of waste, because color bleeding happens when we split the rubber in a horizontal way. It starts to bleed a little bit more on the sides of the mold, but they are very low and they are not very long. Like you have splits of them, not too big, so it shouldn't be a problem. So the color dam will start here and then get into the bottom. So they are like chocolate parts.
Yeah.
Are going to be inserted into the mold by hand.
Yes.
So it's okay. So here, when I have inserted the line of the last, I have seen that here you have a little, you're under. So when you finish your design, always put the last line and make it. Okay. I've just higher it up here. This is the line which is for the glue. Higher up the top line for gluing margin. In a product like this, I would go even more than 2 millimeters, maybe 2.5. Because it's a winter product, we will need a little bit of thickness, the thicknesses of the materials. So if I am making a sole for running and I have a mesh, I can go really low. But if I have to do something winter, I will have padded materials, big leathers, microfibers. Maybe even I will have some TPU parts. So this is going to be an important upper. So maybe it's better to have a little bit of more flesh. Okay?
Okay.
If I have more flesh, it's better to go up a little bit more. So it's going to be glued easily.
Okay.
Top line of the sole is impossible to trim, small moments. So I go here, you see these very little, they are beautiful, I understand, because they are very organic. But then in the end, there is a person who is trimming the sole. Mm-hmm. So it's not going to be possible. So let's go and curve these a little bit, like go this, no. Yeah, Just think about a person with the wheel, the thing that is turning, and they're just putting the sole and they're just cutting it on the top.
Okay.
That's why we cannot do very, like small movements. We cannot do them with sharp angles and all that stuff.
Okay.
But other than that, this is okay also. We have the TPU here, so we can do the undercut because it's the TPU. And then we have this, okay? We can also split the EVA in two. If we want, this can be harder. This can be a little bit softer.
Right. That's what I was looking at, yeah. Okay.
And then we have a hole here where we see the EVA, which is fine because this part is not touching the ground. So it's not gonna ruin. The one thing that I have seen on the bottom is bigger lugs for more terrain contact, which means grip. There were too much emptiness where we need more contact. Also, just making them a little bit bigger is fine. And here, these white parts in blue, not worth making two colors only here. I think if we want, they are very close to each other. So this is all gonna be blue, this part, like you see here.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions?
No, that's very helpful. One thing that I had like a question about is like, are the lugs like sharp enough? I was re-looking through the notes and it was saying like the like sharpness of the lugs would help with like the draining of the snow and making sure it was technical enough for like snow travel. I have a tendency to draw very organically, so I'm trying to make sure that was just...
No. Actually, like the radiuses that you have put around the lugs makes it easier for the mud to evacuate and also the snow. Okay. Since we have spikes, all the worries, concerns about grip is already resolved. The only thing, if I do something with spikes, again, I would talk with the people who do this sport. I will look at a lot of soles which have spikes to understand how many of them do we need. Maybe they are too much. Like these, you don't need them here. We don't do them. Maybe you can do them in rubber, just to make harmony. Maybe we will need them only on these ones and not in the central ones, or vice versa. I mean, for me, I think in the central ones, they're important. But maybe not on all of them. Maybe these little guys, no. And then these two, and then these two, and then these.
I understand.
Maybe here, no. We don't need it. Maybe here. Okay. I would just look at that. No, we don't always know everything. It's more than 20 years that I am designing soles. But when it comes to spikes or doing something about golf or soccer, I will take really like a good consultancy.